What if I told you that most new real estate investors, they're practically guaranteed to lose money on their first deal? And it has nothing to do with luck. It's not the market, it's because they fall into one of five critical but totally avoidable rookie mistakes.
Hey, welcome to Brick by Brick. This is the channel where we help beginners, just like you, build wealth through real estate one brick at a time. We're all about giving you that solid foundation so you can invest with confidence. All right, let's get right into it. So today, we're going to break down the 5 biggest traps for new investors. We're talking about the emotional buy, totally underestimating costs, skipping your homework, trying to do it all alone, and of course, lacking a master plan. I'm telling you, if you can just nail these 5 things, you're going to be way ahead of the curve. All right, let's jump into the first one. Mistake number 1, the emotional buy. Seriously, this is where you let your heart write a check that your business just can't cash. It's the number 1 killer of otherwise great deals. You really got to let this sink in. You're not buying a home, you're buying a business asset. This is probably the biggest mindset shift you have to make. You got to stop thinking like a homeowner and start thinking like a CEO. It's not about finding your dream home, it's about finding a machine that makes you money. Look at this contrast. It says it all, right? An emotional buyer gets hung up on the charming curb appeal, the original hardwood floors. But a pro investor, they're laser focused on one thing: positive cash flow, ROI, cap rate. I once saw a guy pay $25,000 over asking for this beautiful old Victorian. Why? Because he just had to have it. And that one feeling, that one emotional decision, it wiped out years of potential profit for him. The numbers have to work. Period. End of story. Okay, so you've managed to put your emotions on ice. Fantastic. But the next trap is waiting for you right there in the spreadsheet. This is mistake number 2, underestimating the costs. This is where a deal that looks amazing on paper suddenly becomes a real-life money pit. So how do you avoid that trap? Well, you start with this incredibly simple but powerful tool, the 50% rule. Think of it as your dose of reality. The rule is simple. You should assume that half, 50%, of your gross rental income is going to get eaten up by all your operating expenses. And look closely at what this covers: vacancy, repairs, property management, taxes, insurance. And notice what isn't on that list: your mortgage payment. This 50% is for everything else, all the stuff that rookies almost always forget to budget for. And on top of all those operating expenses, you absolutely need a safety net for repairs. This is huge. Pros always add a 10 to 20% fluff budget or a contingency fund on top of their rehab estimates. And let me be clear, this isn't for if something goes wrong. It's for when it goes wrong, because trust me, it will. This is the money that saves you when you find some hidden plumbing nightmare or the price of lumber suddenly shoots through the roof. So what happens when you run the numbers perfectly? You've got your emotions in check, but the deal still turns into a total disaster? Well, that's what happens when you make mistake number 3, skipping your homework. This is the difference between finding a diamond and a dud. Let me just say this right now. Never, ever, ever skip the professional inspection. I don't care how good the deal looks. It is completely non-negotiable. I've literally seen people waive an inspection to make their offer more attractive, only to find a $50,000 foundation problem waiting for them after they closed. That great deal turned into a financial nightmare overnight. A $500 inspection would have saved them everything. Don't do it. And look, your homework goes way beyond just the inspection. You need a checklist. First, hire that inspector. Second, you got to research the neighborhood. Is it on the way up or on the way down? Are new coffee shops and businesses opening up? That's a good sign. We often find that B and C+ class neighborhoods are the sweet spot for great cash flow. And third, you have to verify the rental comps yourself. Don't just take the seller's word for it. Find out what similar places are actually renting for right now. And of course, check the local zoning laws. Okay, so you found the property, the numbers work, you did your homework, you're golden, right? Not so fast. Even the best deal can completely fall apart if you make mistake number 4, trying to do it all alone. You have to remember, real estate is a team sport. You can be the captain, but you can't be every player on the field. So who's on this A team you need to build? First, you need an investor-savvy lender. Not just any mortgage broker, but someone who understands what you're trying to do. You need that thorough inspector we talked about. You should probably get a transaction coordinator. They're worth their weight in gold for handling all the paperwork. And of course, you need a list of trusted contractors. Each one of these people gives you leverage. It frees you up to find the next deal instead of getting bogged down. Trying to be a one-person show is just a recipe for burnout and honestly, a ton of expensive mistakes. All right, you've got your team assembled. Now what? What's the actual game plan? This leads us to the fifth and final mistake. And this is the big one that separates the weekend warriors from the people who are really building an empire, lacking a master plan. Because if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. It's that simple. So what goes into this master plan? Well, you have to define your goals. Are you playing for cash flow, long-term appreciation? How many doors do you want in 5 years? You need a growth strategy, but just as important, you need a risk management plan. And that means reserves. A solid rule of thumb is to have at least 6 months of total expenses, mortgage, taxes, everything, sitting in a bank account for that property. That's what saves your skin when the HVAC suddenly dies. And finally, know your exit strategy before you even buy. Are you going to flip it, refinance it, hold it forever? You have to know the end game from the beginning. So let's just recap everything real quick. This is the difference between a rookie and a pro. The rookie buys on emotion, the pro buys on numbers. The rookie underestimates costs, the pro uses a 50% rule and has reserves. The rookie skips their homework, the pro does a deep dive. The rookie works alone, the pro builds a team. The rookie has no plan, the pro invests with a clear strategy. That's the whole game right there. And I want to leave you with this one last thought because it's so important. You make your money when you buy, not when you sell. Your success isn't decided on closing day 5 years from now. It's locked in the moment you sign that initial contract. Buying right, doing the homework up front, that's what makes a deal that can survive just about anything.
Hey, if you got any value out of this, do me a huge favor and smash that like button and subscribe for our weekly investor breakdowns.